Hey everybody, and welcome to another Toy Talk review. Today we're taking a look at the Sideshow 1/6 scale exclusive edition Batman action figure. This is part of Sideshow's DC Comics line and features comic versions of all these characters done in 1/6 scale. It's sort of Sideshow's own take on the characters, mixing a bunch of different art styles from over the years. Batman is the first actual hero release in the line. So far it's been all villains, or sort of villains, in that we've had Joker, Harley Quinn, and Catwoman. Now we have Batman, and next up will be Superman. And they've also shown Green Lantern and the Flash for this line. And then it's also going to eventually have Marvel characters that are done by Sideshow in the same kind of style. They've shown Deadpool and Wolverine for that. But today we're taking a look at Batman, and it's really the only release in the line that I'm picking up. I was intrigued by this figure. I'm really glad I have picked it up. I'm super happy with it, as you can see by the rest of the review, but I'm rambling. Let's take a look at this box. First of all, we've got the Batman logo up front and the Batman name there, a 6-scale blue line below, and the Sideshow exclusive edition sticker down there. It's a very plain front of the box. It's very minimalist. Kind of like that, though. It's not super busy. It's just really clean and nice. Along the side, we've got the same Batman logo with some blue bats flying around, and that is all embossed on there. I don't think the front is embossed as well. My bad. And on the other side, that same panel is there. The blue line, as you can see, runs all the way across. The bottom of the box is plain. The top of the box is plain. The back of the box features this artwork of Batman. It's got some sort of texturing to the gray, and the logo is sort of a separate piece, it looks like, that's overlaid on the armor. And, you know, Batman's looking out through his wide eyes, and we've got some credits down below, and call toll free, all that jazz. The Batman logo, WB logo, all that standard stuff. Let's take this box top off here. Okay, come on. Now I don't actually have my Batman in the box anymore, so in case you're wondering why I'm not really protecting this box as I'm opening it, it's because there's no figure in here. The top of the box is plain black inside. Let's set that off to the side here. Inside the box, we've got the inner blue box that has this Batman logo along the side, and the tops and bottom. There we go. And inside there, we have an art card that sits on top of the figure, and it's got that same Batman image from the back, but now we've got the full image of it. I'm going to set this off to the side. Well, we'll look at that more in depth here after we do this. The figure is encased inside this plastic shell. We've got a space for the two different heads, since this is the exclusive edition. The figure itself was sitting inside there. Underneath that is another separate plastic tray that houses all of the accessories, the stand, and all that jazz. Let's just kind of sit all this off to the side, take another look at that art card so we can talk a little bit about it. The art card inside has an image of Batman, and along the side it's got these 3 yellow images that I think are really neat in that it's telling you basically what the figure has. We've got the grapple gun up top, a belt, which I never took the belt off of mine, but it shows him putting the belt on, a pair of batarangs, and this beat-up portrait down below, which is the exclusive version, so it's kind of interesting that they put it on the art that I'm sure is included in the regular version as well. The art is signed Monk. I've never heard of that artist, but maybe you have. All right, so that's everything with the box. Let's now take a look at the figure and his accessories and move on from there. Here we have Sideshow Batman all out of the box. As you can see, this figure has a lot going on with it. So I figured it'd be best if we kind of take a look at each piece one at a time, like focus on the hands, the heads, the accessories, and then move on to the figure itself. I'm going to try and refrain from giving too much opinions during this section and just kind of give you the look at everything and explain everything and kind of hold my opinions on things until the couch portion of the review, but I may slip an opinion or two in here, so sorry if I repeat myself. Alright, so let's start off with the hands. The figure includes a lot of interchangeable hands for different looks. All of the hand sculpts have the same sort of glove patterning to them, where it's got this upside down sort of V on the top of the hand, detailing to the knuckles. They're all that same glove design amongst all of them. The figure includes these 2 fist hands already on there. Then there are a pair of these karate hands, a pair of slightly gripping hands, and then there are 2 of the left hands that are unique to just the left hand, and that is a gripping hand that's sort of more open for the grapple, and then a little tighter one that's sort of in between the gripping pair and the grapple gun hand that's meant for the larger batarang. We'll talk more about the different uses for those grips when we get over to the couch for that part of the review. And then last, we have the kryptonite ring hand with the translucent green stone in there. It's kind of tough to make out, but it is. I'm trying to turn that a little bit, that light, see if it catches it. The stone actually is translucent on that, and there's some green paint app to give it sort of a glowing effect. So what we're seeing here are 3 full sets of matching left and right, 2 extra left, and 1 extra right, for a total of 9 different hands. Now that we've looked at the hands, let's move on to the accessories that go in those hands. Here we have Batman's tools of the trade. Included with Batman are 4 batarangs. 3 of them are the same sculpt, and 1 of them is a larger, different sculpt. The 3 that are the same sculpt are the smaller batarangs that don't have a lot of points to them. You know, they've just got the bat ears, and then the 3 points down below, and then these 2 points up top for the wings. Whereas the other larger one is more like the traditional solid black bat symbol, where it's got the extra 2 points along the bottom. This one also has sort of more of a patterning to the wing area. It's got sort of a Grady type of look to it. But all of the batarangs have a silver paint job to the edge, the small and the large, that gives it more of a bladed look. Batman also includes his grapple gun, and this is a solid piece. This one is, and then it has extra. Portions that you can put inside of it to do different looks. First, there's just the standard plug-in. I think this piece, yeah. Plug in this, and it's got the grapple sort of on the end, ready to be fired. And each of these little prongs spins down, so that way you can get the full grapple effect, or they can push back so that it looks like it's ready to fire. Those are very delicate, so be careful as you're moving this. To do the other look, you pull this off, and you pull this spindle off. It's very tough to protect these little blade pieces as you're doing that, so just be really, really careful as you're switching these out. And the other one is a deployed look, where it's got the string attached to that barrel area, and then this like stick portion plugs into the little spindle, if I can get it on there, and then you've got the fully deployed grapple. Let me spin these guys out very carefully. So there you go. And all those blades, just like the Batarang, have that silvery sheen on the edge of them. Gives it sort of a bladed look. All right, now that we've looked at the hands and the accessories, let's take a look at the different heads that are included with this Batman figure. All right, here we have the 3 different head sculpts that are included with the Sideshow exclusive version of the 12-inch Batman figure. The standard version only includes the short ear and the long ear sculpts with these 2 facial expressions, whereas the Sideshow exclusive version includes this battle damage version of the long-eared portrait with a new face, like chin sculpt mouthpiece that can pop in and out. Now, like I said, the standard version is only going to include these 2, so if you happen to pick this up from another retailer other than Sideshow, or if Sideshow is sold out of the exclusive, only pay attention to these 2 head sculpts. You won't be getting this one, so there you go. First up, we've got the short-eared sculpt, which is the one that is included on the figure. Now, mine, you might be able to see in this, it has a little bit of a paint rub on the forehead. I'm going to move these 2 guys out of the way for now so it focuses more on the one we're talking about. But it has this little paint rub on the forehead. Hopefully Sideshow will get that replaced for me before I do the pictures of these, but for now in the video, just going to have to deal with seeing that rubby spot. The face sculpt is the stoic or standard sculpt. I don't know what they're going to call each one of them. That's the one that's included on the short-eared sculpt. It pops right off. It's really easy to switch these out. You just take the head off, push in this little circle piece from behind, and it pops right out. And then you've got the head without the chin piece on there. And then we'll kind of sit him off to the side until we actually want to switch him. The other portrait that's included in the standard version is this long-eared look. We'll get them both side by side real quick here so you can see the difference in the size of these ears. And his mouthpiece that is on him is sort of a snarling, angry expression. And that just pops right out. And you could put either one on either head sculpt if you've just got this standard version, If you've got the exclusive, you'll have 3 different options mouth-wise to use. And then these just push right back in. On the battle damage head sculpt, let's move these two guys out of the side. They went with the long-eared version for the battle damage portrait. I was kind of wondering why they went that route. So it seemed like most people were interested in the short-eared version, but they did go with the long-eared version for the battle damaged portrait. He's got a lot of like paintwork in here. It's kind of tough to make out in the video, but if you'll hit the info section, there'll be a link to a gallery of all these figures. And the battle damage goes all the way around the head. It's on the back of the head. It's on the ears a little bit in paintwork. And then this portrait here has also been beat up. He's got sort of a fat lip and some cuts and stuff here and there. And even though the other 2 head sculpts don't look damaged, you can pop this mouthpiece off and put it on one of these standard head sculpts. So you've got sort of a beat up mouth Batman on a standard head sculpt. Alright, so that's all the heads. Let's take a look at the actual figure itself. I almost forgot, before we take a look at the figure, I want to talk a little bit about this awesome stand that Sideshow has created and included for this figure. This is not like your traditional stand at all, and I kind of wish that they would have included instructions just for this stand, because it is a pretty complicated stand if you don't really know what you're looking at here. It comes like this, and I've seen a lot of people online wondering where the other pieces included to make a smaller stand, and it's all inside of this contraption here. We've got the waist clip up top, and that piece just pulls out like a standard doll stand. And then we've got the crotch grabber style stand piece, which is much shorter, and it's in the second clip. Now inside of this, see, this is your big doohickey thing for doing the giant jumping stands. Inside that is the smaller stand piece for you to do the more traditional just one clip instead of jumping in the air type of thing. And that just plugs right into the base. The base features just sort of more of a like concrete-y type look to it. It's just a paint spray. It doesn't have any kind of texturing or anything like that to it. That just plugs right in. Now this piece, when you put it back together again, and I'm pretty sure I got this right, I should have really paid more attention as I was taking it apart. But you've got to make sure when you put this back in to do the jumping type of poses, you want to make sure that the open end goes inside of it. Not this part here where it has the 3 dots and the little sort of rectangle look to it where the stand plugs into. Make sure that that is at the bottom if you want to switch to the jumping poses, because you won't be able to push those clips all the way in if that circle's not open there. So you want to make sure that this piece is on the bottom when you're doing the big extended pose, and then when you're doing the smaller poses, pull it out, make sure the circle part is on the bottom, and put it like that. And that's as far as I can tell how this stand is intended to work. Again, like I said, it really should have some kind of instructions included with that. Maybe I just missed it in the box, but I don't think I saw anything. Let's take a look at the stand in the 2 different configurations. Here we have the stand fully extended with both the clips in to add support for this jumping type of pose. So you've got 2 different stand clips here. You've got the standard waist clip style, and then you've also got the crotch grabber type of style. So you can give double support if you want to do like jumping poses on your shelf. If you happen to have enough shelf space to do this kind of pose, it's kind of high. It'd be really nice for flying characters, but it makes sense for Batman as well. You can do these kind of falling down on the criminals type of poses or things like that. So that has both of the prongs inside of there, adding support so you don't feel like your figure's going to fall down. And that is pretty sturdy. I mean, you see a little bit of wobble to it, but I don't think it's going to fall down at any time. And here we have the stand with just the lower portion installed, doing more of a traditional Hot Toys type crotch grabber stand is how I refer to it as. You can see it's the same you'd find on all the regular Hot Toys MMS or DX type releases currently, where it's got the 2 loops that form here, and then the little prongs, and then it moves up and down inside of there. So you can just display it as a standard stand. Alright, so here we got an up-close view of the Sideshow Batman, so we can talk a little bit about his suit and his articulation before we get into the final thoughts over at the couch. As you can see, I've just got the short-eared head sculpt on there. It just pops right on and off on a ball joint, moves all around. Then we've got a shoulder joint that can swing out and up and down. It has sort of a ratcheting movement to it. And then it's also got a little bit of back and forth, so you can get a little bit of, you know, arms back and arms forward type of posing. He's got a swivel here between the shoulder joint and the bicep. One single arm joint, and as you can see, mine's a little bit on the loose side. It does have the same ratcheting as the shoulder, so it can hold positions, but in between each one, mine is a little bit loose. Now each of the hands has an articulation. I'm going to just pull another hand off the side here. Each one has its own post that's already inserted, and that moves back and forth. It swivels all around, so you get a lot of wrist movement out of each one of the hands. The torso has a joint that's in between the rib section and the ab section, and that moves all over, and then a ball jointed waist as well. The hips have that same swing out movement, and then up and down, and then it also has a swivel at the top of the hip where it meets into the pelvis area. The knee joint is double knee jointed. The knee joint is double jointed, whereas the elbows have a single joint. The knee is a double. Seems like the upper joint is a little tighter than the lower joint. That can look a little bit funky when you get into different poses and stuff. So just when you're moving it, make sure you're moving, you know, which side you want to move, because the lower side seems like it's going to move a little bit easier. It also can catch the costume pretty easily when you get that joint moving. So be careful, because this costume can pick up runs and things. It seems like it's not as bad as what I've heard the Adam West is like, or the Chris Reeve Superman Hot Toy are like, but it can pick up some runs. So just be careful. And the ankle joint is really interesting, is in that the boot is two segments. You've got a ball jointed ankle that moves all around, so it's not interfered by a larger rubber boot thing that's kind of keeping it all confined in one space. Really like that. Alright, let's take a look here at the cape. The cape has seams, just like the DX09 style cape. There are seams that run down sort of as the scallops go. The cape has sort of a pleathery type material to it on the outside, or at least a pleathery type look, and on the inside it has more of a fabric look. While this cape isn't quite up to Tony May custom cape standards, I'll talk about this a little more at the couch. I really do like this cape a lot. I think it's really super nice. As far as paint apps go, we've already taken a look at the head, and you know some paint apps are there, but there's also a little bit of black highlighting along the gauntlets and inside the gloves. There's a black sole to the boots, and the boots have sculpted treads in them, which you can kind of make out. There you go. So there is a little bit of paint highlighting in all the blue sections that are plastic. These gauntlets are plastic, and then the upper boots are obviously, well, sort of a rubbery plastic, I guess you should say. It's sort of a soft plastic. These are really, the gauntlets especially, are super soft, so that when you get these hands in here, you can kind of work the gauntlet piece onto the hand to make it look as one solid glove. The belt is a separate piece. It's all pouched, and it's actually material. At first I thought that this might be sculpted from the initial pics, but this is actually real material. Every little belt pouch is made of sort of a canvasy type of material. Take it back around here. And then of course he's got the separate blue trunk piece. We've kind of eliminated trunks from comics nowadays. I'm happy to see that this figure does have them. And that actually has two seam lines down the front too. Before we get over to the couch, I just wanted to do one quick comparison shot for you guys here to give you a better idea of the size of the Sideshow Batman body. Here he is next to the DX09, which is, I figure, a pretty popular figure that is in a lot of Batman collectors' collections. So here is the size comparison between the two. The bases are almost exactly the same height, so they're almost on the same plane between the two of them. As you can see, the height is pretty close. This Sideshow Batman is a little bit taller. You can see the top of his head is right here, and Batman's is a little bit lower since he has the longer ears. Build-wise, this Sideshow Batman is a lot bigger than a Hot Toys type of build. Oh, and by the way, that's a Tony May final version cape on here. I think it's Final 2.0 that I've got on here right now. So you can see that the bulkier, bigger body belongs to the comic Batman, and the more human proportions are with the DX09. But they do look good together. It's not too far apart. It's not like putting a DC Direct 13-inch next to him or something like that. So there we go. And now we will take these over, and not these, but we'll take over our Sideshow Batman to the couch, and we'll do the opinion. Hey everybody, and we're over here at the couch to give our final thoughts on the Sideshow Batman 1/6 scale figure. In case this is an introductory video for you, I am James. I'm the dad, the adult collector. This is Blaze, who is the 12-year-old collector, who's my son. And then back here is Keaton, who is gone off to the side, but he is the 7-year-old collector. So we all kind of give our final thoughts. Keaton usually pops up and down behind the back. And Cringer's down here too, our cat, so she might give her thoughts. Alright, so first of all, I mean, you've seen everything in the opening sequence, but we're just going to give our thoughts on everything here. First of all, there's the box. It's got the Sideshow exclusive sticker here, because this is the Sideshow exclusive version. But this might be your first look at the box.
Yes, it is.
It starts with a sort of simplistic Batman. It's all solid black. It's got the simplistic Batman logo on the front. It's got a Batman logo on the side. It's kind of embossed.
Right.
And these bats along the side. And then it's got this art tray here. It's got this image of Batman and sort of his accessories broke down here. And then it's got the packaging inside of the plastic. That same Batman image on the back. And then a blue motif with the Batman logo. I like the packaging.
It's really neat.
I think it's simplistic, yeah, but it's really neat looking. I like the art card. The Batman head is a little weird, I think, in this illustration, but it's just a box to me.
Right.
The boxes don't do much for me. But I do like that it's simplistic and not too busy. It's easy to open, easy to put the figure back inside. I really like that. Because all the lines that you collect, we have to like rip the packaging open, and then once it's open, it's gone. It's garbage. So these higher end figures, it's nice that you can take open the box, put everything back inside if you want, or leave it out, whatever you want to do.
Now, I have a question. I'm not sure if we're going to get into this during the video, but what's the difference between the exclusive and the normal?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a little bit in the opening sequence, but I'll explain it to you as we're going here too.
Okay.
Let's tackle the accessories. I guess we'll tackle the stand first. The stand is really nice. It's got a lot of things you can do with it, which I showed in the opening sequence, but I'll show you again here. There's a couple of options. When the stand comes to you, I gotta try to twist it out of here, because I got the smaller one on there. Like I showed in the opening sequence, this other piece is inside of here. So you can't even you can't tell it's even part of it when you first get it. I've got this jammed inside here, so it's tough to... Alright, come on. Oh, that's why. So this piece is inside of here. There's a smaller piece that's inside the other piece. And this larger piece is meant for like jumping poses and things like that. And it has two different clips that are on here. It's got a waist clip, which is the longer stand, and it's your traditional kind of doll stand clip. And then it's got this waist, or the under the crotch type clip.
Favorite kind. I like that kind of stand better.
The clippy kind?
That
or the under the crotch one? Yeah, it's less obtrusive.
Scale twice.
But this is nice that it's got both things on here, because you can really get some nice, like, jumping and flying type poses and still feel like it's supported.
Right.
I like that. This is a really inventive stand. I like that it has a lot of options. But you say you prefer the clip stand.
No, I prefer
this kind. I'm sorry. Well, that's the kind I use for the smaller stand, just sitting on the shelf. I won't really use that big one in my display because it's almost too big.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Can I just stay right here?
You can stare at me?
No, can I just stay right here?
Oh, sure, yeah, but when the figure gets held up, you might have to go down so it focuses on it. So yeah, I really like that it has options. Even though I'm not going to use all the options, it's great that they gave them to you.
Yeah, for the people that do want to use those.
Yeah. The only gripe I have is that the image on the base isn't that really special or very much like Batman. It's just kind of like a...
Maybe it's the Batcave? Or
I don't know. I guess maybe it's supposed to be a piece of the Batcave? What do you think?
I think it's the part where the rides go on.
Maybe the area where he keeps the Batmobiles and stuff like that? It could be, or it could be like an elevator thing that elevates him up or something.
That's what I was
Either way, it doesn't scream Batman to me.
Yeah.
And I think the base should really scream Batman. It maybe be like a chunk of the Crime Alley or something like that with maybe like blood stains or something like that.
Cool.
Would be really neat. Or just a Batman logo would have been cool.
Like the Hot Toy did.
Yeah, I think that would have been neat. So that was my only gripe about the stand. Okay, accessory-wise, he's got a bunch of Batarangs. He's got 3 small ones and 1 larger one. And they're all of different bat sculpts. You saw these in the opening sequence. I really like the paint jobs on them.
Yeah.
That they have this sort of bladed edge to them, the silvery paint job. I thought that was really neat. And I like that you get a few Batarangs.
Yeah.
If for some reason you want to lose one of these tiny ones, that would not be a huge bummer.
This is for more of an adult collector, so if you're losing one...
Something's wrong with you. But stuff happens, you know.
Yeah.
Falls out of a display case, gets caught behind a dresser or whatever.
Yeah.
The grapple gun / launcher thingy...
Is giant.
It's big. It's definitely big. But it's been big in certain things. Like Arkham the game, it was big.
Yeah.
It wasn't very big in Batman, which is the first time, really. The 89 Batman's the first time it really uses a grapple gun. This looks like it's a combo between the 89, the Arkham grapple gun, and maybe a little bit of the Batman Animated Series one thrown in there too.
Yeah.
I like the paint job on it.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I like the fact that it fits in one of these hands really well. I'm not going to try and wedge it in here again after the opening sequence. Well, maybe I will. Get in there. And again, I like that Sideshow's giving you a lot of options. I'm not doing very well. Okay, I've got it. I like that Sideshow give you a lot of options with the display.
Yeah.
I'll show you what all you can do with it here. You can do it without anything coming out of it at all, or you can do it with this smaller post and then the grapple thing, which has these little swing out blades.
If you were to do the grapple gun anyway, which way would you do it? If you were to do it?
To display it?
Yes.
I would probably do it with nothing out. I kind of like the way it looks with just no post coming out of it whatsoever. But you can do it with this option, or you can take this bladed part off and the peg off, and then there's the piece that has the long string attached to it where it's been deployed, and you can have this kind of resting around his feet or whatever, and then this post plugs in here. If you were to display it one way, which way would you display it?
I would do it just with the hook in it.
Just the hook, the way I just had it before? What do you think, Keats?
I'll
Which
do
way?
it that way.
With the string? So we each have a different... That's interesting.
And I'll make him do it like on the side of it.
I'll have it off to the side
And make
on the
it
case.
stay there.
That's a good idea. Have it like hanging off the side of the case.
Yeah.
That's interesting that we each would display it a different way, and that's cool that they gave you different options because people prefer it different ways. I would just think that everybody would like it the way I thought, but you probably would think that everybody would like it the way you thought, you know? So it's, or you, yeah. So you get all these options. And then the other way you have a bunch of options, well, one of the other ways, is all these different hands he comes with.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty sure that the figure comes with the fist hands in his hand, like in there already. So we won't talk about that.
I don't do accessories, so I'd kind of keep the fist hands in there.
That's what I'm going to go with. I think he looks really cool on display with the fist hands. But he's got one hand that is meant, it's kind of like doing one of these jobs, and it's meant to hold one of the larger batarangs. And then he's got one that's sort of pinching more, and that's meant to hold the smaller batarangs. And then there's I think that's both sides. He has the little smaller pinching hands. And then he's got the grapple gun hand, and that's the left hand. Right? Yeah, left hand. So it looks like he's got more left hand options in that regard. Well, no, I guess it's even.
Or the
Is it even?
karate hands?
No, it's not even. He's got more left hand options than he does right hand options. Which is kind of odd. I always think of, I guess Batman's ambidextrous. I guess he can use both hands. Then he's got karate hands, like you mentioned. One for each post.
What would you do, Keaton? You said that you wouldn't want to use the fist hand.
Well, hang on. Let me cover them all, because I'll probably want to use this one. And the last one is the Kryptonite ring hand. And that one's really neat. We saw it in the opening sequence, but it's got like a green paint job and actually like a clear green ring, which you guys can kind of see catching the light there. And that's for eventually when they have a Superman coming. It's not out yet, but it's coming.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. What do you think, Keats? What are your hand? Blaze and I both think fists.
The kryptonite.
Kryptonite?
And the one that has the gun thing.
So you do grapple and kryptonite. You're more of an action-oriented guy, huh? The nice thing about these hands, too, is that each one of them has a post already in there, and it swivels all around. It's not like Hot Toys where I have to wrestle with those pegs over and over again. I love the fact that these all have pegs already existing inside the hand. The last option where you can change the display looks is with the head. And I'm just going to pop the head that's currently on there off so you can talk about all three heads. He's got a short-eared version.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. And I'll talk about the cow sculpts first.
Not mine.
He's got a long-eared version. And then the exclusive has the battle-damaged long ears. And this one also has a dedicated mouthpiece that is for the exclusive. And that's a beat-up mouthpiece. So we're going to talk about the three cows here. Which one's your favorite?
The first one you're holding?
The short ear?
No, that one.
This one, the beat up?
Yeah.
Oh, so you like the exclusive the best. Which one do you like, Blaze?
I like the short ear.
You like short ear? I was really anticipating liking the long ear the most.
Right.
But when I had it here, because I was thinking that I would get a custom suit and I would really go for a full like 90s, 80s, 70s Neil Adams, Jim Aparo, that type of Batman. And that long ear is great for that. But when I got this here and I saw this short-eared head sculpt on there, it screamed Jim Lee's Hush Batman to me.
Which is a really great design.
I agree. And the sculpt
that whole
with the
figure kind of reminds me of that.
It really does. Yeah, once I had this short-eared head on there, I was like, that's a Jim Lee Batman, and it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna really go crazy trying to change things on this. I may eventually get a second one and get a custom suit and put the long-eared head on it and do that. But for right now, I really like having a Jim Lee Batman, and this short-eared head is great for that. Yeah, buddy.
I'll get 3 so I can put each head.
That would be a lot of money. Okay, so you've got the 3 different cows, but you also have 3 different face sculpts, and they're all interchangeable between them. Yeah, so you've got the regular face, you've got the snarling face, or you've got the beat-up face. Now, the beat-up face, it does come off, but it really only makes sense on the beat-up cow.
Yeah.
You can put it on the other ones, but then it looks like Batman just got beat up in the mouth area, and that would be kind of silly. Now, you're changing it? Well, what do you like now, then?
The short-eared.
Short-eared?
Mouthpiece.
Short-eared mouthpiece.
Inside the big ear.
Inside the big-eared head or the big-eared beat-up head?
Actually, the big-eared one.
The big-eared regular head?
Just have the big-eared regular head.
With this kind of mouthpiece?
No. I'll take out the other one and put that one in that one.
Okay, so take out this other one and put it with this one back in? Or put this one in here?
Yes.
Okay, so that you want the snarling face inside the short ears?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, there's so many options for displaying. That is really neat. I mean, I love my DX09, and I love the fact that the Keaton head sculpt has, you know, I got hair.
Yeah.
Where did I get that from?
I don't know. It's red.
It's one of Mom's hairs hanging around in here. So, I love my DX09, and I love that it has the different face sculpts, but it's the same cow. So, like, that battle-damaged mouthpiece, it's just kind of like, okay, but he was more battle-damaged than just his face. And I'm not dogging the DX09, I love the DX09, but this is great in that you do have a beat-up head sculpt to go with a beat-up mouthpiece. Or if you want to have Batman doing a crazy snarl expression, you can do that. Or if you want to have him stoic, you can do that. I can tell you right now, I'm only going to use the stoic one. I think that the snarl is a little too extreme for in my tastes.
Yeah.
But it is neat, again, that you have the option. Okay, so that covers all the heads and all the changes and stuff like that. I talked about in the opening sequence where some people are popping these heads apart, getting the eyepiece out and repainting it all in white. I may do it eventually, but for now I don't.
Silver's neat.
Yeah, I like that it's got a gray with like the white highlight. I think it's kind of neat looking. It has sort of a cool presence to it. Maybe one day I'll paint one and decide how it goes. But for now, again, I'm happy. So that just pops off and it pops on just like that. And you gotta keep your cape kind of straight as you're putting it on there. We're gonna go with the short ears for the rest of this review.
Belt's really nice.
It's really cool, man. I've talked about it a lot in the opening sequence already. I don't want to repeat too many things, but I do want to talk about some things with you. That way you know what we're talking about here. The original prototype had like a plasticky piece around the neck, so it would have like a cowl that came down into the neck and then the cape from there. But I prefer it without it. I think it looks good. I like the way it flows from the head into the cape, and it feels like all one solid piece. You know, and there's a good amount of articulation at the neck still. He's not losing anything from being trapped on a plastic neck piece. I love this cape.
It's really nice.
I think it's so well done. This is the best non-custom cape I've ever bought. Out of all the Marvel Hot Toys, out of all the Sideshow things, out of all the different, all these different things that I've had, this is easily the best cape that's non-custom. Tony May does fantastic capes. This has been the closest thing to his kind of quality from a regular figure I've ever seen. It's really well done. I love the way it lays. I love that it's 2 different materials between the outside and the inside. It's hard to get a bad look out of this cape.
It
you know?
really is.
What do you think? I mean, like, how do you feel about the cape? Like, what would you display it like?
I would do what you have it on now. I like
over the shoulders?
I always like the draped over the shoulders look for Batman.
And this is like one of the first Batmans you can do that with and have it not look kind of weird because of wires in the cape or something like that, where it's just kind of just on there.
Well,
just
that's why I like
drop it on there. The Tony capes?
Yeah, because that's why I have it on my Hot Toy right now.
Yeah, and you have it
capes
draped down, I love that.
Long flow to
it's
it,
so
like
long and nice, man. It's just, you can just see the way that has weight to it. Yeah, buddy, what's up?
How I would display it?
How would you display it?
I would just put a little over the front.
Put a little bit over the front?
And put the other
Put the other one back?
That's pretty cool.
That's a great idea, too. That way you can see the costume still, and you do it knee down. That would be cool. Well, knee down, let's talk about the articulation a little bit on this guy. You guys haven't seen it very much, but we've got the ball-jointed neck. We've got a sort of a shoulder that can move back and forth It's a little restricted because he's got sort of a rubbery piece here for the chest. We've encountered that before with Hot Toys, though. This is a new body for Sideshow. It's like their superhero body. He's got really big, broad shoulders.
Yeah.
They get a lot of movement. They can kind of move all around, man. They got a lot of movement going on. And then he's got a swivel here at where the shoulder meets the bicep muscle, and it can swivel back and forth. He's only got one elbow joint. And a lot of figures usually have that double elbow joint piece.
Yeah.
He's only got the one, and
I'm actually kind of glad. Sometimes
it's too much.
Sometimes you get a little loose. Some parts get a little loose.
Well, I was just about to say that is a bit of a problem on mine. Is that mine is kind of loose. It's got a ratchet thing, and it catches, but it does feel like it's a little bit on the loose side. Like you have to get into those ratchet spots for it to hold a pose.
Right.
And that's a little disappointing. And that's a problem I'm reading on a lot of people's reviews and things, are that those elbow joints are loose. What's up, buddy? Oh, okay.
This would look cool, like if you put the kryptonite hand on it. If you put it next to the evil Superman 3.
I was going to do that for the
Hot
pictures.
Toy,
I'm going to do that for the pictures.
It's really good because it's kind of like the whole Hush thing.
Exactly. Let me finish up this articulation. Okay. So the hand joints, they all have this ability, and then they can rotate because they're all on that same kind of post. They're a little restricted once you get them on here because of these gauntlets, but they still work. And it's a little tough to get the gauntlet done just right since the actual hand is a separate piece from the gauntlet. It's tough to make it look just perfect without kind of losing or kind of spying that joint in between. The torso has a joint that runs in the center, and then it's also ball jointed around the waist. And then you've got kind of swivels at the tops of the hips that are ball jointed. He does have a double jointed knee, which is nice. And then I really like the fact that the boot piece down below the shoe piece is a separate piece from the rest of the boot.
You get a lot of extra movement out of that.
No doubt, man. You get a lot of great posing out of that. You're not stuck with sort of this rubbery look to the boot where it gets that kind of fold and crease going on. I really like the way they handled that.
And if it's one piece and you fold that foot down on accident, it's gonna like tear.
It's gonna eventually they'll get some stress lines in there, I think. Okay, so we kind of covered the articulation. I think it's a well done figure. The only gripes I have are those elbows.
Right.
I think
stand.
And the stand. I mean, for the articulation wise, the suit. I love the way it's tailored.
Yeah.
I like the design choices.
It's all like Hush, but they really take a lot of designs out of all the different Batman stuff.
They really do. It's really heavily influenced by Hush, I think.
Yeah.
By like Jim Lee's Batman and Kubert's Batman. In that he's got the black logo, he's got the sort of yellowy pouch utility belt, which the utility belt is great.
Yeah.
Actual fabric, and there's like foam inside the pouches. It's just really well done. I love the fact that they went blue trunks, and they went blue and gray instead of black and gray, which has been kind of like shoved down your throat for a while now, black and gray Batman. I like that this returned to blue and gray. And a lot of people are complaining that it is blue and gray instead of black and gray first. There'll be time to get the black and gray. Let's do some classic blue and gray,
you know? Like a custom suit or something.
Yeah, you can always make it black if you needed to. I like that a lot. When I talked before about how I'm really a fan of the oval logo, and maybe I would love a capsule utility belt. But for a first outing, I like that they did Hush Batman. It's more sort of the most recent iconic look for me of Batman would be Jim Lee's Batman. Before that, it would be Neil Adams and Paro and that kind of stuff.
Is that kind of like the last modern Batman story you really read? Like actual
that I really
story?
enjoyed and liked? Yeah, that will probably be the last one that I really was way into for Batman. Because it kind of lost, I think, the Batman and Son I really enjoy. I haven't enjoyed New 52 and that stuff.
Red Hood, Under the Red Hood was
pretty good. I liked Under the Red Hood. But the one I was really, really, followed every single time it was coming in and was super excited about was Hush.
Recently.
Yeah, that's true, and you really enjoyed Hush.
Yeah, I went through that really fast.
So it's an iconic look for Batman, and I'm feeling they'll eventually do a bunch more Batmans that have iconic looks.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with this one as is, and for a first outing for their DC superheroes, they've only done villains so far, this has been a knock it out of the park figure. I love this figure.
If they would have just quit there, it would have been like the Ghostbuster line, the NECA Ghostbuster line.
Oh yeah, just the villains. NECA's really shaped up their game since way back then, though. I can't say enough good things about this figure. Mine had a bit of a quality control issue on the head, has a little paint rub. Sideshow's fixing that for me. And then there's the loose elbow. But other than that, this figure is awesome.
Really amazing figure.
Awesome figure. This is my comic Batman now.
Right.
This is my representation of comic Batman in my display. It doesn't get any cooler than this at this scale, in my opinion.
It looks really nice next to your custom Tim Drake Robin.
It does look cool, and I think it looks cool with the Jack Joker, even. You know, I don't have the Sideshow Joker. I didn't really feel like I needed it. But he looks cool with the Jack Joker. Okay, so that's it. I highly recommend it. You can hit the info section and it'll take you to a link over at Sideshow to order the regular version. It was the same price as the exclusive, but I'm pretty sure the exclusive is sold out now. But you probably won't display it with this much anyway. I don't think a lot of people are going to be displaying it with the battle damaged head.
Right. It doesn't really make sense since you don't have a whole battle damage like
his whole suit's not battle damaged. Totally a good point.
You have the face.
You have the face and that's it. So yeah, if you hit the info section on this video, there'll be a link to both pictures and to pick it up at Sideshow. Yeah. The regular version is still available at $200. And I guess that's it, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to sign off, and we'll see you guys next time.